I'm Katie Yance, and I'm a chemical engineering intern.
Hi, I'm Sarah Taylor, and I'm a biological engineering intern.
Hi, I'm Emily Heckard, and I am a chemical engineering intern.
Hi, I'm Audrey Warner, and I'm a civil engineering intern.
Our group is named the Spice Girls, and we created a bubble blowing machine made entirely out of recycled materials. We wanted to look at the project through the lens of sustainability, since we know how important being environmentally friendly is in today's world. Also, we knew that using as many recycled materials as possible would decrease the total amount of money spent and make it easier to stay within our budget.
The main objective was to design and build a bubble machine that automatically produced bubbles which floated through the air. From the video of the bubble machine, it's clear that we accomplished this. Additionally, we accomplished our own personal objective of creating a project made entirely out of recycled materials. Keeping with our desire to make an eco-friendly bubble machine, we decided to make a bubble machine that was wind-powered instead of powered through an electrochemical battery. Despite, though, having made the project out of recycled materials, we worked hard to make sure that looked as professional as possible on FEDD Day. We remade the fan, which not only improved the appearance, but it also improved bubble output. And we made a wooden framework to support the project instead of having made the bearings be out of hot glue and bottle caps. There were a few important decisions we had to make while completing our project. One decision we had to make was how many blades we should put on our fan. We decided on 4 because we wanted enough blades to adequately capture the wind, but we didn't want to put more than 4 fan blades on because we wanted large gaps to be in between the fans in order to allow the air to pass through.
Most of our research had to do with large-scale wind turbines, so that wasn't really too helpful in considering like a smaller scale fan, but what we did get out of the research is that with a fan you're going to need to curve the fan blades so that it actually catches the wind as it turns, because we had started out just using pieces of aluminum that were flat and we noticed that it wasn't getting a lot of air, it wasn't giving us a lot of speed and no turn. So we researched a lot and we found that it's better if the blades are curved in a certain way that catches the wind better.
We decided to have the fan and the bubble wand connected and spun by the same rod instead of having the bubble wand spun by a pulley in order to minimize the energy lost in the transit. One pencil alone was not long enough to fit into the framework. Therefore, we glued 2 pencils together in order to make the rod long enough. We researched multiple patents in order to find a design that would work best for us. In addition, we used different sized bubble wands, which allowed us to alter the size of our bubbles.
What difficulties did the group encounter during the design process, and how did we attempt to overcome them?
We believe that doing multiple trials and testing our prototypes along the way were key components to making sure our machine worked on FEDD Day. We ran into several obstacles when prototyping. For example, we experienced friction, which stopped the pencil from rotating in one of our earlier prototypes for the bearings, so we made new ones out of wood that allowed it to rotate more smoothly. We also were faced with the problem of the pencil being pushed forward by the wind source instead of just rotating. To alleviate that issue, we put a drop of hot glue on the pencil, which stopped the forward motion. We originally used wood to make the bubble wands, but they lost some of their structure and the hot glue didn't work as well after the wands were submerged in bubble solutions for a long amount of time, so we fixed it by using straws instead. And lastly, we experimented with lots of different containers to find ones that weren't too deep, so we weren't wasting bubble solution. They weren't too shallow, so that the entire bubble wand was submerged in solution, and that weren't too narrow, so that the bubble wand could freely rotate without hitting the sides.
What would your group change if you could do the FEDD project over again?
Our group functioned well together, although there were a few things we would change if we did it over. First, we would change our meeting times from late at night to earlier in the day in order to be more productive. Additionally, meeting during the day would allow us to make runs to the store or our different living spaces if we needed supplies. Furthermore, we would work on the project pieces more individually instead of trying to get it all done in the meeting. By doing this, we would be more efficient in the building and testing process. Concerning our machine, we would not use wood because it deteriorates when wet. Working in a makerspace would have been helpful as well, so attending an orientation early in the project process is something we would do. What did the group learn from the FEDD design process?
We learned that even a seemingly simple machine will take a lot of trial and error. We originally had 2 potential designs, which we thought would be simple to create 2 prototypes of and then test. However, we decided instead to debate the pros and cons of each design before building to decide on one design to go forward with, so we saved time, energy, and materials. Our bubble machine had seemed easy to design, but once we began to actually create the machine, it had several technical problems. Also, the choice to make our machine out of recycled materials had its own downfalls, as it didn't look wholly professional, and certain materials were difficult to shape to our standards.
At FED Day, our project got 2nd place, which was really exciting. The judges were really happy with how we had a recycled materials design since it was pretty original, and our project actually worked really well too. We had a continuous high stream of bubbles in a large volume, so it was a really successful day, and we were happy with our project.
In the future, I'll remember the FED project because it helped me learn the stages of high-scale project design, which is really exciting.
In the future, I'm going to take with me the lessons I learned about time management and not putting off the project till the end, because we were able to create a better project by starting early.
The FEDD project taught me about how to do hands-on project building, which is something I've never done before.
The lessons I learned from FED was how to function in a team and how to let go of control and delegate duties, as I was not good at that before.